the program and has been a source of success for many of the students and including myself. And we're going to revisit it several times. It's a staple throughout the program and there's a lot to learn. So today will be an introduction and we will go much more in depth as we go on. So starting out in the back anchor position, going into the back anchor progression here, so pushing away from the back anchor zone to elevate the pelvis. And this is the most critical step of the bridge, the very first step and the most important one. And that's because we are activating the abdominals to initiate the bridge. We're initiating the bridge with our core and not our legs. And the reason we want to do this is because the way in which the bridge is most often done in a non-beneficial way, to put it nicely, is that it just turns into a leg exercise and a glute exercise for most people, and we want to flip the script here and turn the bridge into a core exercise. And so starting with the back anchor progression, like so, you can see my pelvis is off the ground. Makes sure that your core is initiating the bridge, you're not using your legs right now, and your abdominals are the source of power. Once you've done this, and you can hang out here and breathe here for a minute, make sure everything's turned on, then you can bring your legs in. Specifically, you're going to want to focus on squeezing the glutes to come up further into full bridge or wherever is comfortable for you. So that may not be full bridge, it may be somewhere like here in the beginning, and we'll talk about why in a minute. Your back anchor zone will come off of the ground, but you still want to maintain that same intention of pushing away from it. So this is where one of the learning opportunities comes in, is that you don't have the floor here now to be your tactile cue to push away from, but you can still maintain that same intention of pushing away from the back anchor zone, which creates that same abdominal activity. Remember, a lot of this is about intention, so maintain that same intention. And another thing that you can think about and do to make sure the abdominals are engaged throughout the exercise is to think about pulling your pubic bone to the sky from the front. So your abdominals pull the pubic bone up, and this will ensure that your core is involved and engaged. That's the number one rule of this exercise, is abdominals are turned on throughout. And even on the lower, you can see I'm lowering very slowly. I bring my back anchor zone back to the floor and connect it and take my legs out of it. And I'm going to completely control the lower with my abdominals and bring my pelvis back to the floor. So the entire exercise is a core exercise, and my legs become secondary to my core rather than the primary source of power. So here I go again. I'm up in full bridge. Now I'm checking with my hands to make sure my core is still engaged. I'm thinking about sending my breath down low and even back. And that's going to be very challenging for some of you, so don't worry if it's too difficult right now. There's a lot going on here that you're going to have plenty of time to improve on that. The other thing I'm thinking about is my pelvic position. So we want to think about having our pelvis in a posterior tilted position, which is like that, rather than an anterior tilted position, which is like that. So pubic bone forward, top of the pelvis back, rather than pubic bone tucked back and top of the pelvis tipping forward. So this is the direction we're thinking about, and we're pulling it into that direction from the front with the abdominals and from the back by squeezing the glutes. And so this is a function of the tug of war that you're playing against your hip flexors, and you don't want to let the hip flexors win. There's an article for you to read that gets much more in depth into this, but just for now, that's all you need to know is posterior pelvic tilt. And if you don't feel confident that you can maintain that and prevent your lower back from arching, then that's when you would want to think about not coming up into full bridge and maintaining maybe a little bit of a lower bridge like that, because it's going to be a lot easier to control your pelvis and maintain that posterior pelvic tilt and prevent your lower back from arching. The abdominals and glutes job is to protect your spine, and you're thinking about doing the opposite of arching the lower back and pressing your back anchor zone down and tilting your pelvis back into a posterior tilt. So again, on the lower, I'm going to slowly control the motion, connect to the back anchor zone, and then watch as I control the lower using my abdominals to bring my pelvis back down. So this is turned on the entire time, and that is the number one rule with this exercise. This is a core dominant exercise,